What's up, SHIPIT Nation? We got a nice little 4-game baseball slate today over there at DK starting at 1 o'clock. FanDuel, of course, had to hack it up a little bit. Their main slate is 6:45 over there. But here in the day slate today, we do have a little bit of weather concerns we need to be to keep our eyeball on, and that would be in the White Sox game here. Let me just make sure that's the right it is here before I tell you, but pretty sure that is the case here. But either way, I'm losing my dang train of thought. But so we do have a little bit of weather. As I mentioned, we got 4 games here today. So the first one, all of them over-unders. We got 3 games sitting at 8. We have the Milwaukee and San Francisco game sitting at 7.5. As far as some team totals go, we have the Twins sitting there at the highest. Actually, Kansas City 5.4. They are the highest. We have the Twins at 4.9, Boston 4.6, San Francisco sitting at 4. We got 2 teams sitting at 3.6, Milwaukee and Seattle. And then we have the White Sox, Colorado, sitting at 3.3. So just talking about these team totals here with the 4 games we have, obviously at pitching, we do have 2 aces in just absolute smash strikeout spots with Garrett Crochet there versus Seattle and this 34% K rate. And then Cole Reagans against just the absolutely terrible Rocky team at an over 30% K rate. And then another guy here that we might be able to play other than these 2 who are going to be extremely chalky. This whole slate today seems going to be extremely chalky. Twins and Royals, we know how I feel about the Royals as far as bats go. And then here with pitching, it's pretty obvious with these 2 just monsters up here at the top are going to be heavily owned. But Landon Roop here against Milwaukee, starting out for his first 4 starts, been over 30% K rate. I do like the discount you get on him. That would be pretty much the only pivot that I would look at. You can look at Brian Wu and his 21.4% strikeout rate. I just don't like him against the lefties. We know the Red Sox have a ton of lefties with some power, so could be looking at that as we move on here in the video. Then we got Paddock against the White Sox. He's going to be popping up, but, man, I'm just not a fan of Paddock. I don't know. I just don't know what you're going to get out of him. I just haven't liked him in the last few years. Want to attack him, actually, even if it is a little bit just a shitty matchup for the White Sox. But I mean, man, I don't know. The White Sox are a tough click. I get it, but man, I don't mind clicking him as like a low owned stack here in a 4-gamer. I mean, we got to find a little bit of something here. Definitely one that I'd be looking at. The other pitchers here, I don't have any interest in. Smith, Marquez, Myers. No thanks. I'll pass on them. It's obvious Crochet and Reagans are going to be on top here today. With bats, man, Royals and Twins are going to be extreme chalk, especially with those 2 teams. Only ones that, 4.9, so we'll call them 5 team total here. Kansas City sitting at a 5.4. But if you watch the shows, how I feel about the Royals. They just don't have any power. I don't know. I mean, I get it. They're a little tougher to fade today on a short slate, but I'm still going to end up fading the Royals here today. But Royals Twins definitely going to be fairly chalky. The pivot I'm going to look at here is the Red Sox, as I mentioned, the lefties against Brian Wu. Does give up a little bit of power. Fly ball percentage up to 32% to lefties. Somebody to be looking at guys like Duran and Devers, Cassis. Definitely like some lefties over there with the White Sox. As far as some other bats here today, with the 4 games, just kind of looking at maybe some one-offs that and some top bats here that I do like. Top bat for me would be Bobby Witt Jr., but that's about the only Royals bat I'd be looking here to play today. I got Duran and Devers up there at the top as well. You could look at Dylan Moore, grades out fairly well against Crochet. If you aren't playing Crochet, you maybe want a one-off. I do like Byron Buxton today. Wilyer Abreu, another lefty against Wu, as I mentioned. Salvador Perez there against Marquez. Lewis Robert Jr. looks interesting against Paddock. I have him up there. Jung-Ho Lee and Chapman against Myers, I think, is interesting. Luke Keyshaw, I think, is a pretty cheap bet here. You get higher up in that lineup against hitting third against this White Sox team and that just terrible bullpen. Tristan Cassis, another guy I'd be looking at. Yastrzemski, I like him as well. But basically here today, like I mentioned, Royals Twins going to be fairly chalky. I'm going to look at some Red Sox. I also have some White Sox here mixed in with some stacks. I wouldn't mind the Giants as well with Myers coming back from an injury. I prefer the lefties, as I mentioned, with Yastrzemski. But overall, I mean, this has got a pretty tough slate. Going to be a lot of chalk here today. But if you do want to get away with it, as I mentioned, different from it, Landon Roop would be the pitcher that I'd mix in with either Reagans or Crochet over there on DK. And then I'd just completely fade the Royals and look elsewhere. Red Sox, maybe some Giants, and maybe throw in some White Sox. Either way, good luck. We'll be back here later on, throwing some FanDuel cores for you. But good luck. Let's crush our contest, and let's ship it.